So this is what I'm going to say to the women out there and to some of these young bucks men, So we talked about Tracy Ellis a little bit, through it to her and how she kind of like younger men, she said younger, not young. Younger, ER. So with that being said, I just want to make sure we clarify because some men automatically went to, oh, she would get an 18-year-old herself or a 19-year-old herself. No, she said younger. Now, men tend to peak in their pants around 18. You know what I'm saying? They tend to peak early on in their 20s. And so
I'm about to say
women, you
18.
tend
Come
to
on,
peak
Antoinette.
around 35 and after. Hey, I'm
Y'all
just saying.
maxed out
I'm
early. Maxed out early.
You know what I'm saying? Y'all have a tendency. So 18 was me being facetious, but to be honest, though, it's in y'all 20s. Y'all tend to peak on sexually, right? And so it's about biology for men, whereas for women, it's more about their confidence level peaking when they're later on in life. And so that's why if you can't handle your woman when she in
You
her
gotta suffer in
30s, 40s,
silence.
then you know what I'm saying? It's because she glowed up mentally and sexually. You know what I'm saying? And you may have peaked a little early.
She
You
better
talking
learn.
about let her
She
suffer
better
in
learn
silence.
Excusing violence.
You said let her suffer in silence.
I mean, listen.
She better grab that
We
rose.
moving on to
Listen,
Cialis and
if I
gas
was
station pills.
if I
Not
was
the
bringing
gas station.
premium peen for the last 20 years and you just wasn't enjoying it the way you should have because you didn't know your body, and now that the table is turned, sorry, ma, you better go to your spank bank and remember the good times. The fuck?
Not going to your bank.
Listen,
Your memory bank.
yeah, you be like, ooh, remember July 23rd and 25? That shit was fire, right? The
That
fuck?
was fire. It was a good day.
I mean, and then on top of that, like, it's perimenopausal, like right around the corner. I guess the well just wells up before it just runs dry. Huh? It's like, hey, last hurrah, everybody get in when you can. Stop it. I'm sorry.
I think that the joke is that
No,
by
Well,
40, you guys have reached your peak libido and that shit starts going downhill,
hey, listen,
literally. And there's a necessity for other
you know,
enhancers to help you guys be able to keep up with the 10.
listen, I don't normally say this, right? But you know how like you could work and put enough work in to where you could retire, right? And you could live off of that for the rest of your life. Like you can have a legacy. If I don't fuck no more, I'm good.
That's horrible.
Like,
That's horrible.
I'm
Fuck.
not saying that's what
these
I would
words do
want.
not compute.
That's why we
You
stay
clearly-
single
you
in
clearly-
40s then. Fuck it.
This is clearly why like some of y'all might still be single because we're from Mars and y'all are from Venus. Y'all don't want to hear or listen. Nobody is saying that's what one wants or desires. I'm saying the amount of work that I put in, it is what it is. God forbid if I am like parallel, guess what? Now, normally I was like, you know what? I might be the type of husband that could stay married and be like, hey, baby, go ahead and get yours out there. I know I can't do it because I'm just going to roll up on y'all. No, I'm just chill, right? I thought that. But then I thought to myself, all this good dick I've been giving out, sorry, it's going to be at least about a 5 to 10 year period where I got to figure it out. Hey, you got to work with me. You got to stay patient. It's like, hey, one day I'm going to get there.
She gonna say it was the grace of God that kept her there with this nigga.
The grace of God
kept me there.
Like, hey, babe, listen, you know what? I want to be able to do this for you, but I'm just not there right now. One day I'm going to get there.
Call John.
I'm just gonna say this is why there's so many pills and so forth on the market for men because their libido decreases around their 40s. That's
Hey,
why
but hold
you have
on.
so
No,
many
it's
testosterone,
decreasing earlier
Cialis,
now.
Viagra.
Okay, hold on.
Then you have your what's that back in the day? Spanish fly. What was it called?
They doing the honey
No,
packs now.
Let's have a real conversation, right? Because I feel like we never really do, and we can close it out. It's been a great conversation so far, but I do want to say this. Like, y'all act like y'all just gotta, like, it's the pressure is different on our side. You know what I'm saying?
It is.
Like,
The burden of performance.
the
burden of
blood
proof.
gotta rush there.
Mhm.
We gotta be able to, you know what I'm saying? And then we gotta have rhythm. We gotta have, you know what I mean? And then we gotta
The core
last.
gotta be.
And then, you know what I mean? And like, I mean, listen, I'm not knocking out y'all don't do stuff, but it's like if you turn the car on, it's like this, the car is on. It's not like, you know. So just give brothers a little bit of grace. We've been running around the track. We've been pedal to the metal since we were like 12 a little bit. You know, once we got the joystick, we just been shifting ever since. You know what I'm saying? So where's the grace for us as men? You know what I mean? No grace. Oh no, but in all seriousness though, do y'all think though that might be it? Like if a woman prioritizes sex that much, right? And then she wants a man at a certain status and or like let's say, both these women probably they want a guy who's wealthy enough, who's successful enough or whatever, right? And we keep on joking, but there is some truth to what S&M said that men do kind of decline a little bit when it comes to sexually. So when I talk about like women having to make hard choices, if those women had the choice of a man who fit like their other boxes, but sex was just one that it was mediocre. It wasn't going to be what they thought it was going to be. Is that a sacrifice that it was reasonable for them to be willing to make or no? Because if it's not, then what the fuck are we talking about? Is that a reasonable sacrifice? Like if you want, because they both talked about marriage and they talked about fidelity, right? Hey, my sex is so much. So if you're giving your man enough sex to where he's good, but that probably means it's maybe more than he needs, right? But he checks all your other boxes. Is it fair for them to try to figure if they want to settle for that or no?
Well, since we got a gap, because I've had the same conversation with women, Nick, and I've asked them, listen, he checks all the other boxes, but the peen is mid on a good night. But he checks every other
It can't be
box.
mid on a good night. Come on,
It's
give him like
mid.
average
At best.
Go ahead.
Average at best.
Okay.
Do you go with it? And most of the women said, yeah, I would take him checking all my boxes and the sex is mid. Like, okay, cool. All right. So it's a trade-off to your point. But is that a trade-off women are willing to take? Because as the saying goes, some guys are there for the bills, some guys are there for the thrills. She probably is not going to tell you which one you are. She would ideally like to get both of those things in the same man, but sometimes you can't. So which one are you going to pick?
Well, I have a response if that's okay. Similar to the conversation about the ugly girl with the man who wanted another partner, know who you are. If dick is whack, then understand and respect the fact that I have to go somewhere else to get pleased. Be blessed that you have someone like me who checks off all your boxes. You should feel the grace of God amongst you to allow me to go and deal with somebody else because you are aware that your dick don't work or that you mid on your best night. Because who admits that first? And then, like...
I was just about to ask.
They don't have to
I'm
admit it.
pull up
We
on
know.
you and say, look, girl, I like you. I just got to warn you up front. I'm mid.
They be like, I got 2 pumps in the shake.
With you.
How can we work this out?
I got 2 pumps and then I'm going to sleep.
S&M?
So I was just going to say that I've actually seen some relationships where the woman settled because the guy did check all the box. But the one thing they didn't settle about, if the peen was mid or below average, then the cunnilingus had to be on point.
Mm-hmm.
They had to be a pussy-eating connoisseur. And then they were able to settle. But if they couldn't get that and the peen was trash, then they weren't willing to settle. They was like, hey, I can work with everything else on the box, but I got to at least get this. There needs to be some satisfaction. And then even for the ones who couldn't get that satisfaction, they actually had a lot of sex toys in play. And then I know there was this one guy, he was hilarious to me, where he was told that his shit was trash. So he went and got a penis pump and started working on building that girth. And I was just like, wait, what? First of all, why are you telling me this? But, I appreciate the fact that he was maybe because I saw the box. But anyways, so I appreciate the fact that he was willing to admit that, he had to go get a penis pump. He was practicing dancing because apparently he ain't have no rhythm, didn't know how to move. So I can see y'all when y'all talk about some of that pressure on you, but I think it depends on the woman and she has to know what she wants in life. If she really wants those boxes checked like that, the lady from God, if she really wants the boxes checked, then by all means, do what you do, And otherwise, I don't know. I'm just thankful for my husband. I ain't gonna lie. I am thankful for my husband.
Aww.
Thank you. So.
I do want to call back before we give some final thoughts because you did mention Tracy Ellis Ross, and what I didn't realize at the time that I was the younger man. Right? I was like, wait a minute, how old is she again? Because I was like, damn, Tracy. I was so caught up in the breaking heart part that I didn't realize, like, low key, I might be like enraged. You know what I'm saying? Like, I even talked to the wife. She was like, hey, yeah, I get it. You know what I mean? Like, because I feel like that's a whole different story for a different day. I'd have her wanting to get married for real,